What's up, Bond Junior fans? We're back once again to do comic book number 4 of the Bond Junior line. Today we're going to be going Under the Sea. Like, comment, subscribe, and share, and let's get into this. We start off on the Greek coast. The Greek coast. Calm cruising weather, except that there are apparently monsters around. No, not actually real monsters, just big machinery. And I was really wanting a Kraken to fight Bond Jr. If the name Plunder Down Under didn't give off some Australian vibes, we also have the 100% guaranteed Australian word crikey being uttered, as the monster from before grabs a hold of the ship, causing the captain, named Milbanks, which must be kin to Tracy and the headmaster. So anyway, he calls to abandon the ship as it sinks. While all this is going on, we see our young heroes checking out ancient ruins of Greece's ancient past. Honestly, with the last comic having to do with El Dorado and now having to do with ancient Greece, I'm fully expecting to see the Ark of the Covenant or the Holy Grail in the next comic, but I digress. We see that for some reason IQ has stayed behind at the school, which is odd because him being the token smart guy, you would think he would come along. Maybe the artist didn't just want to draw his nerdy self. And we also see Gordo Lighter playing a video game, which I'm only highlighting this because video games are pretty much Gordo's thing. The kids hear about the ship that sank, and we learn that Tracy's uncle was indeed the captain, and he has disappeared along with the ship. Turns out the gang of heroes are planning on going scuba diving. And I love how IQ says, maybe James' plan to go scuba diving will take your mind off your uncle being lost in the sea, you know? The sea, that thing where we're going to dive in? Like, seriously. We, of course, get our gadget scene from IQ, where Bond gets a laser ring, yet another homing device, and, of course, an electromagnetic watch. Fortunately, we leave Noseworthy in the bed playing his game. In travels to get to the boat they rented, we see Jaws. Jaws unhooks his boat, of course, by biting through the rope. The gang follow Jaws, who gets into the water and swims to the machine they used to sink the boat. We learn that this device allows one to snatch a ship. The kids decide to look on the seafloor, and they find an underwater fortress. Honestly, I have to say, at this moment, my Bondian itch has been scratched, and I am all aboard for this. This underwater fortress, of course, reminds me of Atlantis, and the Snatcher makes me think of Spectre Bird 1 from You Only Live Twice, or the Laparis from Spy Who Loved Me. The kids decide to go inform the Coast Guard when they realize they have company, a great white shark, which swallows them up. The gang emerge, not dead or in heaven, as Gordo thinks, but in a submarine. Jaws then shows himself, and we see that the shark was just a sub disguised as a shark. As they marvel at the underwater base, Bond states, "Look at the size of this place," only to be met with "Cut the chatter, Bond," which really reminds me of a line from Star Wars Episode 4. Like, if you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, the gang discover that all the stolen ships are down here. As they're being escorted, Tracy hatches a plan and hits the fire alarm. This causes the villain of the comic to show himself, and it is none other than Captain Walker D. Plank, complete with Bird, who also has an eye patch. He is pretty much a stereotype of a pirate. As Jaws looks for the gang, the kids try to escape when Tracy hears a familiar voice, and we are reintroduced to Captain Milbanks. Unfortunately, we then come face to face with Plank, who also has a hook for an arm. If only he had a peg leg, but I really do like his wild hair. Plank explains that he has stolen these boats and equipped them with the best in seaborne weapons and full remote control. He then believes that his boats can conquer the world and nations will fall. Bond calls him out on being crazy, and I love how the Bird is chanting pillage and plunder over and over again. It's just so fantastic. This next part, however, amazes me at how far-fetched things get in these stories. So Gordo is playing his game, which is called Ships Ahoy for that matter. He's playing the game, he beats it, and IQ gets an idea. So he takes the homing device and installs it in the game, and somehow we're supposed to believe that this gives the kids the ability to control Walker de Plank's ships. So Bond then gives Gordo the game, telling him to play the ultimate video game, which is pretty dark because, I mean, literally, Gordo's about to play with a lot of people's lives. But anyway, we are shown that Gordo's probably pretty good at this game, as he's destroyed like every ship there is and presumably killed quite a bit of sailors, and he's pretty delightful about it too. So careful, guys, don't let him enjoy that too much. Jaws and Plank decide it's time to escape. Bond Jr. and gang use IQ's laser ring to escape, and they rescue Tracy's uncle along the way. We see Plank and Parrot get into a scum sub, and by the way, we also get another helpful educational lesson on what scum stands for. Bond confronts Jaws with an oar and fastens his watch to chains so that Jaws gets attracted to them. Bon voyage, Bond quips as he puts Jaws in the water, which is also pretty dark, as, you know, drowning is a real thing anyway. Topside, Phoebe is still freaking out that the gang are gone, but Mitchell is, of course, like, they'll be fine. I taught them how to scuba dive, which then, of course, our gang surfaces in the shark, and the day is saved. So honestly, I think so far, this is either my favorite Bond comic. Well, whenever I say Bond comic, I mean James Bond Jr. comic. It's either my favorite or it's tied with the last one. I really do like the underwater scenes. I mean, I'm getting Spy Who Loved Me vibes all over the place. Really like it. Also reminded me, I mean, just the little picture of the underwater little fortress reminded me a little bit of Rapture from the BioShock series. Not really the inside of it, just the way it looked on the outside kind of gave me vibes from that game. So really liked this one. I do hope that the next one is good. I have not read it. As I stated in a previous one, I'm reading these all for the first time with you so we can discover it together. So next time on our James Bond Jr. journey, we will see what the future holds for our young group of heroes. And hope you enjoyed this. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.